Welcome to Planet Codes. I'm Mike. In this channel, we will learn LangChain through practical real-world projects, step by step, with clear explanation and working code. If you're ready to build AI application instead of just watching tutorial, you're in the right place. Let's get started. In today's video, we're going to build and understand two really important ideas in LangChain: chat prompts templates and message history. So first, why do we even need these? If you've ever built a chatbot, you already know the problem. If you only send the latest user message to a model, the assistant has no memory of what happened before. That means it can't stay consistent, it can't follow the conversation naturally, and it can't use earlier context to answer better. That's exactly where chat message history comes in. We store the conversation turns, user messages, and assistant replies so the model can see the full context. Now the second piece, chat prompt templates. Instead of hard coding your prompt every single time, templates let you define your system instructions and message structure once, then reuse it across many conversations. You can also insert variables like the user input, extra context, or a stored history. This makes your code cleaner, more flexible, and much easier to maintain. In this video, we're going to do more than just talk theory. We will build a small project that uses both. We will use chat prompt templates to create the prompt structure with placeholders. We will use chat message history to store and pass the conversation history. Then we'll connect it all together so you can see how a chatbot actually works across multiple turns. By the end of this video, you will understand when to use chat prompt templates, why message history matters for real conversation, and how to implement both in a working LangChain setup. Alright, let's get started. First, we will set up the basics and create our chat prompt template. Okay, the first thing that I need to do here is to create my project. I'm gonna create this project using UV. If you have no idea what is UV and why we should use it, you can watch its video on my channel. So the first thing that I do is start the terminal, and I type here UV init followed by the name of my project, which is prompts and history here. And we can use underlines here, so it will be better for understanding. After I did this, I will wait to be initialized. Okay, next step, I go to my project directory using cd prompts and history. Inside this, I'm going to specify my Python version that I'm going to use here, which is Python 3.12. I use UV Python, UV add Python, followed by the name of my Python 3.12, and I will wait for it to be installed. All right, the first thing that I'm gonna do here is to create my project. So I just open up the terminal, and I will use UV. If you have no idea what is UV, you can refer to my previous videos. So here I will navigate to the folder that I'm gonna create my project, which here is LangChain. And I use UV init and followed by the name of my project, which here is prompts and history. Okay, my project is initialized. The next step is to navigate to its folder, and here I'm gonna install Python, UV install Python, and the version that of Python that I'm gonna use here is 3.12. After I did this, I'm gonna create my virtual environment. I use UV venv -- Python 3.12. After I did this, I need to activate my virtual environment, and I use the command point venv / scripts, and I run the activate script. Now the environment is activated in my project. Now I'm going to install my packages UV add LangChain and LangChain underline Hugging Face. After I did this, I will wait them to be installed. All right, now we need to create our main file of our project, which we are gonna put our codes inside it. So I just open this and open the folder of my project, which here is chat prompts and history folder. After I did this, I navigate to the source folder and I will create a file here called main.py. And in this file, I'm gonna write the code that we are gonna do for our project. Another file that I need to create is to put my environment variable inside that. I call this file my venv, and I will put my Hugging Face API code here, and I will refer it in my main file. All right, now we need to import the packages that we need. The first package that I need to import in my project is Hugging Face for connecting to our model, and the next thing that we need is prompts from the LangChain. So I just write from LangChain underline Hugging Face import chat Hugging Face and Hugging Face endpoint. And the second package that we need is messages from LangChain. From LangChain underline core dot messages import human message and system message. If you have no idea what are these, you could refer to my previous video. I've explained them there. So the next thing that we need is to put our Hugging Face API token in our venv file, and we should rename our file to a Python file so our interpreter can use it. So after this, we need to introduce these files to our project. So we just simply go to the source folder and we use uv add -- script main.py. So if you can see, it doesn't work here. We need to change the folder to prompts and history where these files are. uv add -- script -- script main.py. And the next thing that we need to do is to add the myvenv file. We do it by just write its name, and that's okay. Okay, back to our main file, we need to import the myvenv file. Here from myvenv import, we could either import anything from this file, or we should specify here what variables we need to import. So here I use a star to import anything from my file. All right, I just closed the file explorer from here, so we have a better view. And I will initialize the chat Hugging Face class and Hugging Face endpoint to connect to my model. I just create a variable called model. It's equal chat, Hugging Face endpoint. We need to initialize this class first. It has a variable called repo ID or repository ID, which here is DeepSeek R1. After that, I need to set its creativity with do underline sample is equal true to be creative, and the amount of its creativity with temperature that is 0.9. And another thing that I need is max underline new tokens. The maximum of tokens that our model can handle is here 500.12. And the next thing that I need here is repetition penalty that I set it to 1. The repetition penalty, it will avoid the model to use repetitive words in its answers. After that, I need to initialize the chat Hugging Face I call a variable called LLM. It's equal to chat hugging face, and it has a variable called LLM, which is our model that we have defined. After this, we need to define our system message and human message. We started by system message. System message is the message that we give it to the AI when we define its rule and its behavior. I create a variable called sysMessage. SysMessage, it's equal system message, and it has a variable called content, which we define here that you are a math teacher and your name is Lisa, and your students are done. The output answer should be clear and summarized. Okay, now that we have defined this message, we need to define the human message, the question that a student have from the model. So I just create a variable called huMessage, and it's equals human message class, and its content is what is high number. Okay, the next thing that I need to do is to create a variable called messages, which is a list that we will send it to the model, and the model will give us the answer. So I create an empty list here and put sysMessage and huMessage here. And the next thing that we need to do is to invoke our LLM. I just simply create a variable to hold the final answer of the AI to the student and print it on the screen. So I just defined a variable called AI message. It's equal to LLM.invoke, and we give it the messages, which it's a list of all messages to the model, and we need to print the final answer. print AI message dot content. Now let's run our application and see what happens. I just simply write uv run main.py, and I will wait for the final answer from my model. Okay, now you can see the answer from our model, which it explained for itself what is its role and what is the answer. And as you can see, it says here that what is the pi number. Pi is the number you get when you divide the distance around any circle. All right, as you could see, it's just hard coding and our application is not interactive. So the solution is to using prompt templates that it will give us the ability to use variables inside our prompts, and we can define some conditions for answering the questions. For example, if the student question was about the science, you could just not answer it and just answer to the math questions. So let's use the chat prompt templates. We need to first we need to import it from here. We just write from LangChain _ core.prompts. We import chat prompt template. As you hover your mouse on it, you could see that it has some explanation inside it for how to use it. Here I need to receive the question from the user and put it in a variable called user_text. I do it simply by using Python method for receiving text from the user and showing you to the user to know that it's turn to ask its question. So after that, I need to initialize my chat prompt template and put it in a variable to use it, I create a variable called prompt template here, prompt template, and I initialize it with chat prompt template class. And inside this class, we need to give it a list. Every message that we send to the AI is inside this list. So we need to define its role as the system message and the human message. So we need two tuples here. And I just write system for defining the system message. And I put the text that I've already wrote. I copy this from here and put it here. After that, I need to define the human message. So I just write here human, and another thing that I need here is two curly braces for defining a variable to hold the user text. So I put a user underline input, and the next thing that I'm going to do is to remove the system message and the human message from here because we don't need them anymore, and we don't need this message list here. I just need to format my messages so my chat prompt knows that this user input belongs to this user text. So I just write prompt template equals prompt template itself dot format messages, and I need to tell it that the user underline input it's equal to user underline text. Now we need to send the prompt template to our model and receive the answer and print it on the screen. So I just write here, instead of messages, prompt template to send the prompt template. And let's test our application. UV run, and we ask it where is pi, and we need to see the answer. Now you can see the answer. It's great, and our application works. Now we need to make our application more interactive. For doing this, I'm gonna define a while loop and put all of this inside it, and define a condition to exit this while loop. Be careful when you defining a while loop. You should define a condition that you could exit out of this while loop. Otherwise, your computer will stop. Okay, here I define my while loop, while true, and inside it, okay, let me check the problem, while true, and inside it, we just receive the user input text, and we will define our system message and human message, and we here format the messages and print the AI message on the screen. And we need to define the exit loop here simply by an if statement here. If user underline text dot lower it was equal to exit, and then break. As simple as that. So we need to run our application and see what happens. Let's do it. Okay, I say hi and wait for the answer. As you could see, it says, hi, I'm Lisa, a math teacher, and it will wait for our next question. I say, what is your field of study? And I will wait for the answer. As you could see, it says that I'm Lisa, I'm your math teacher, and it will give us the answer that we want, and it will wait for the next question. Now let's test our application. Hello, my name is Mike, and let's talk about 2 multiplied 2. It says that it just means 2 group of 2 things, and here it says that, hey Mike, awesome that you are diving into math, but let's ask another question. What is my name and what we were talking about? As you can see, it says that I'm your math teacher, Lisa. We haven't talked about anything yet today. So this is the problem of our application, that it doesn't have any memory about what we were talking. So for solving our problem and using chat memory, we need to do some changes here. We need to import AI message, which is a class that it will hold the AI messages. We need to import from LangChain underline core dot chat history, import in memory chat message history, which is responsible for saving our chat in memory. So another thing that we need to use is a message placeholder, which is a class that we use it when we want to hold our messages or prior messages in a variable. We use this class, and we use this message placeholder inside the chat prompt template. So when we use this, it can contain the prior messages, including system, human message, and every message that we had in the past all goes in the message placeholder. First, we need to create a variable called history, which is our past messages inside this history. We give it the in-memory chat message history class. It will create an empty list of messages. And then we need to create our chat prompt. We use prompt name here for it. And we use ChatPromptTemplate class. And the point is that we should use from messages because we want to use a message placeholder inside it. We need to use this method. Then inside it, there is a list that it contains our messages. And the first thing that we are going to define here is system message. And we just copy the system message that we had here. We copy it and put it here. And then we need to define our message placeholder. So we use the message placeholder. And then we need to define a variable name for it. So we call it history. And then we need to define our human message. We just simply use a variable here inside quotation and curly braces, and we call it user input, that we should receive it from the user in the terminal. So the next step is to update the format messages here. We need to remove this line of code because we don't need it anymore. And as you know, we've created here prompt template about format messages that it receive the user input, the user text, and put it in user input variable for the human message. And we need to add the history, and we add history that we have defined here, a variable history that it's inside the message holder class. And the amount of this history is equal to the history the history variable that we have defined here, and we put the in-memory chat message inside it, and it has a variable called messages that it contains the messages in the history. And then we send this prompt template to our model and print the final answer to the user. And the next step is very important to update our history. So the next time that model wants to give us the answer, it has this information. So we use history variable to point to this history that we have defined here, history that add message, and we define the human message and the AI message. We use here human message class, and we give it the context of content, the content of user underline text. And the next thing that we are going to do is to update the AI message to the history and save it to the history that add underline message. And we use class AI message, AI message, and we give it the content of the variable that we have here, AI message.content. And the point is that we don't update the system message because we have already defined it in our history, and we don't need to update it every time. We just need to update both human message and the AI message. Now let's run our application and see what happens. You will run main.py, and we will wait. I will tell it my name is David, and wait for the answer. As you see, it says that, David, welcome to math class, glad you're here. And let's ask it, what is my name? What is my name? And wait for the answer. As you could see, it says that, hey, David, your name is David. I remember because you're one of my awesome students. So this is it. This works, and it works very well. So now we have chat memory inside of our application. All right, everyone, that's it for today. This video ends here, and our project is complete. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss what's coming next. I've got every advanced project incoming, and I'm excited to build them with you. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.